Hello everyone, hope you are doing well. So today's topic is sports, tribals in sports. Siddi's tribal community, the very famous Siddi's tribal community who are having their genesis, their originating points from Africa. The Siddi tribal community are getting trained by Manipal Academy of Higher Education Mahi and the Bridges of Sports NGO. Both together they are training the Siddis for 2024 Olympics. So the tribal people, the role of NGOs and the tribal sports, the topic which I am going to discuss. This picture is of the Siddi tribal community who are getting trained. The Siddi tribal community who are getting trained for Olympics 2024. So MAHE means Manipal Academy of Higher Education and an NGO train Siddis for shot at Olympics, planning at Olympics. Bridges of Sports is the NGO. Bridges of Sports is an NGO, whereas Mahi, with the help of Bridges of Sports NGO, under his corporate social responsibility, they are training the tribal communities. They are training the tribal communities for the sake of acquiring the medals in Olympics, targeting the Olympics. So Bridges of Sports, a non-profit organization focusing on providing access to children to learn, play and excel athletics. Having worked with the communities in Karnataka, Odisha and Madhya Pradesh, it has trained over 1800 children in athletics. So Bridge of Sports is you can use like an NGO in your general studies as well as in your anthropology or else in sociology. What is the role of NGOs? You can use the example of this Bridges of Sports. They are mainly targeting the lower cadre in communities for sports training so that they will be excelling in sports. So this Bridges of Sports, with the help of MAHI, they are training the Siddi tribal community. Started with the support of few Indian Olympics. The organization is supported by Infosys Foundation, Michael and Sosen Dell Foundation and Deshpande Foundation, and it has recently signed an agreement with the Manipal Academy of Higher Education by which they want to train the tribal communities. So here the very important point is how NGOs are working for tribal development, parallel sports also. Parallelly in excelling in sports as well. Why? Because Siddhis are very much active with their body, with their height, with their stature. They are very much suitable for athletics. That is recognized scientifically by the Bridges of Sports NGO, and now they are recognized and given training in respect to sports with the help of MAHI. MAHI is a Manipal Academy of Higher Education, very famous Manipal educational institutions in Karnataka. As part of an agreement between Bridges of Sports Foundation and MAHI, 17 athletes, 10 years to 17 years age group children from BOS Foundation will receive scientific athletic training, not just training, a scientific athletic training will be provided so that they will be excelling in upcoming Olympics. The majority of the athletes are coming from Indo-African tribal community, which is called as Siddis. And have struggled for basic communities due to lack of resources and social exclusion. They have been socially excluded mainly because their identity is tribal identity. All of these athletes are being trained to compete for the 2024 Olympics. All of these were being trained for 2024 Olympics. In this way, the Siddi tribal community are getting training. Under Bridges of Sports and MAHI. In 1987, similar action was being taken by Sports Authority of India SAI to train these tribal communities in 1987. They did for 6 years till 1993. Then they discontinued it. Now a Bridges of Sports and NGO took the same responsibility in training this tribal community for upcoming Olympics. A scheme to train members of the Indo-African Siddi community. The same is taken by now the Bridges of Sports. Around 65 members of the community were initially chosen to be trained in athletic events as part of the Special Area Games Scheme. Under this scheme, Special Area Games Scheme, 65 athletes were being trained. Now, the scheme was discontinued 6 years later. Again, sports training is reinitiated by Bridges of Sports NGO with the cooperation from MAHI. Why MAHI is doing Manipal Academy of Higher Education under its corporate social responsibility? It is providing the training to this Siddi tribal community. Then there is a popular question, sir, who are these Siddis? Who are these Siddis? So these people are the Siddis who are living in Karnataka, Gujarat, Maharashtra, but major chunk of tribal people are located in Karnataka. These are the tribal communities of Siddhis. Siddhis are a unique tribe that has African ancestry. You know, the Siddhis were being brought, the Siddhi tribal communities were being brought from Africa by sultans and the rulers of India for the sake of slavery job. For the sake of slavery job, those people, they settled in Karnataka, in Maharashtra, in Gujarat. Now they evolved as a tribal community called as Siddhis and lives in South Asia. They are mainly found in 3 Indian states: Gujarat, Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh. Sorry, Andhra Pradesh it is. Gujarat, Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh. And according to the latest census, their total population size is about 0.25 million. 0.25 million population is there. The first documented record of Siddhis in India dates back to 1100 AD, when they were been brought as slaves into India. When the Siddhis settled in Western India, initially in Western India, then they entered into Karnataka, then they entered into Andhra Pradesh as well as in Gujarat. This is about the story of Siddhis. Now these Siddhis are getting sports training. So the role of NGOs in tribal development, the role of NGOs in sports development, in those questions you can write this answer. Thank you. Please subscribe to our channel.